Hello everyone, my name is Frances Paget and today I'm going to be talking about substance abuse among nurses. So substance abuse doesn't seem like it's something that you would think of a nurse partaking in, but I've actually got a few statistics here. The National Institute on Drug Abuse estimates that 10% of US adults abuse drugs. Now if that doesn't freak you out a little bit, 1 out of 10 nurses actually struggle with some type of drug addiction. The American Nurses Association says that approximately 10% of nurses are dependent on drugs. With nearly 3 million RNs employed in the US, that means almost 300,000 RNs are possibly struggling with some type of substance abuse. So this would conclude that no one is immune to developing some type of substance abuse or disorder. It can affect anyone. It doesn't have any kind of bias towards age, ethnicity, gender, economic circumstances, or occupation. So in the workforce, we can see the different stresses that people go through that would kind of drive them to lean on some type of substance. But here, nurses who abuse substances pose a unique and challenging kind of situation to the nursing profession. How? I'll let you know. This is how. Nurses take care of all kinds of people. Those people depend on nurses to give them the best possible care, to help them make it through a sickness or, just stay alive. So substance abuse has so many effects. And it doesn't just affect the nurses in their workforce. Like after they've done something, if they're coming down from some kind of substance they've been abusing, it's not just going to affect those people around them that they're lashing out at. It's going to affect all the patients that they're supposed to be taking care of. So prior to the 1980s, nurses were either fired for substance abuse or they were stripped of their license by the local state board of nursing. So nowadays we have non-disbarment programs, and they offer an alternative disciplinary action towards nurses who are struggling with some type of substance abuse. They like to rehabilitate the nurse rather than remove them from their profession altogether, because there was a reason why that nurse chose the profession. She had some kind of care, or he had some kind of care towards taking care of others. So now they're trying to get that nurse back into that mode without having to rely so heavily on substance abuse. So we're going to go into some of the triggers here in a few, some things that might provoke someone to get into some type of substance, something that will help them throughout their day, something that might help them wind down at the end of the day, something that they will lean on that may make it harder for them to work. So here I just want to take a moment and define substance abuse. It is the continued use of alcohol, illegal drugs, or the misuse of prescription or over-the-counter drugs that can have negative consequences. So of those, alcohol is the most frequently abused substance. And here we're going to talk about some of the triggers that may provoke a nurse to lean so heavily on certain substances. So in the nursing field, we deal with long shifts, mandatory overtime. We have shift rotations we have to get used to. It's also very physically taxing, and it's hard on our families. Whenever we go home, it's late, we're exhausted, we don't want to do a whole lot, so it's very taxing. It's also very emotionally demanding, especially when you get so caught up with taking care of those that you care for, like your patients. You develop a relationship with them. It's not just professional, it's personal, because you want to treat every patient like they are someone that you hold dear. that will make it to where you can treat them in the best possible way. So nurses actually internalize feelings so that they can stay in control and make those split life and death decisions. They also go from one emotionally and physically demanding situation to another, and they have zero time to really decompress and, let go of that. Nurses have seen for themselves that medications can solve all kinds of problems. They have seen where their patients have recovered so quickly, and they also have access. So they're familiar with these drugs and they have access. So substance abuse seems like it could actually be easily taken in by a nurse. So now I'm going to leave you with a choice. Every day nurses have to go through situations where they deal with patients who are hanging by a thread. It's life and death. So for them, it's very emotional. So there's so many things, there's so many different emotions that nurses go through throughout their day. They're stressed out, they're tired. They go through so many situations, so many different scenarios every day. And it would seem like it's actually something that is easily to get caught up in with substance abuse. So do we just hang on and keep going, or can we try to self-medicate without becoming addicted? So this concludes my presentation on substance abuse by nurses. I want to thank everyone for stopping by and watching my video. I really do appreciate it. I really do appreciate the attention that it will get. I'm hoping that we'll be able to bring more light to the situation. Here's just a few references from my slideshow. You can check those out. Very informative, and I really encourage everyone to take a look if they want to know more about substance abuse.